Hi everyone, in this video I have done a test where I'm comparing the the Panasonic GH4, shooting it at 4K resolution and video wise, this is all about video, and comparing it shot for shot with the Canon 5D Mark II. Both at their ultra wide angle lenses is at 16mm, the Panasonic at 7. However, the Panasonic is at 4K resolution, which actually uses like a narrower part of the sensor. So whether it's comparable, we'll have to look at that in itself. Also, I've done exactly the same in-camera setting. So same white balance, same sharpening, same aperture, same shutter speed, same frames a second. So 30 frames a second. The only difference was the Canon can only do 1080p. It can do full HD. However, the Panasonic can do 4K video. So there's a difference in resolution. That's about the only thing, which means it uses up a little bit more memory and takes a little bit more time to edit. But do we get a better image? And from pre-reviewing this, there's not a clear-cut answer from this. So with the Panasonic shooting in Cine D mode, and I had the sharpening right down and the contrast down a good bit as well, and the saturation down a bit as well. But in terms of these two cameras, they both render white balance, it seems, differently. So even if I'm saying it's 5,500 Kelvin, one camera will do it in a different way. Or you could possibly claim that that's the way that the amount of light that gets through the lenses is a little bit different as well. But what I'm going to do, first off, I'm just going to show you straight away the Panasonic. So this video here, 30K at 4K, 30 frames a second inside this nice property, and this is it being compressed down to a 1080p video file. I haven't done any sorts of straightening or even haven't added in any contrast or anything. There are some things which I am noticing, such as lens flare is more obvious in this camera, but in this shot I was liking that. You can even see the dust floating around in the twinkling of the lights of this stuff going on here. Certainly, even playing it back on this 27-inch Mac, you can see it's sometimes it struggles a little bit with all the processing that it needs to do. But yeah, you can see around about there kind of a ghosting effect of the lens, and there again, the Panasonic 7 to 14mm lens is very prone to that because it's such a bulbous thing at the end. But yeah, the bath there, it kind of looks kind of blue. In here, this room, again, a bit more of a purple tinge to it. ISO shooting for this bit, I think I was around about 1,200 in this room. This is also one where the outside the window is totally blown away. It was really bright. This one I had a little bit of color correction, giving it a little bit of a warmer feel to it, so it don't look too cold. And then here, great, you can see out into the hallway over there. And yet, so it's struggling to shoot there, and then over there into the kitchen. So generally, from that, I would say that's fine. I was thinking I could happily just use that footage. Apart from say in the bathroom, I would need to do a little bit of straightening on that. This bedroom, there's not a huge amount of interest in this bedroom, but maybe a little bit of contrast here. This bedroom, lovely. And I love it. If you look at around the TV area on this one, just around here, you just see the dust in the mist. Oh, it's twinkling away. It's beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous. And the thing about the 4K is I have the ability, because this is it compressed down. If I were just to go to none, there we get a nice close up there. Oh, you seen it? Sharpness wise, I would say it's acceptable, definitely. A lot of people have said, oh, if you shoot in 4K, and if you compress it down to 1080, it looks sharper. I'll have a look at that later on. But generally, in comparison, like straight off the bat, I would say, yeah, that's absolutely fine. It's quite pretty, not a problem. Now here's where it gets difficult. So with exactly the same in-camera settings, I'm going to show you it side by side. So the Panasonic versus the Canon. So here, we're shooting with the Canon. Okay, there's a little bit, it seems like there's a bit more of a pink hue going to it. But you know, that's not bad. There are kind of orangey lights in there. But then if we go to the Panasonic, like, oh, it's a good bit darker. So wait, if we just, let's just say for this one, so that room through there, these are the same white balance settings. That room through there looks purple, and you can really see, for example, the blue hue of the reflection everywhere here. With the Canon, I prefer that look a lot more. That looks much more accurate. So you've got, it's not even like it's desaturated, it's just that the Panasonic really brings in a lot of blue into that shot. And again, as I'm saying, this is the same white balance settings. The next shot in the bathroom, looking good. Looking good. Again, a stronger blue cast to it. Like, again, I'm looking at the reflection of the sunlight coming through the window there, and it's a, I would go with the Canon again on this. Yeah, that's, so for the same set. Now the thing is, on the back of the camera, I thought it looked okay. As when I'm saying on the back of the Panasonic, I thought it looked absolutely fine. Okay, this room here with the Canon, nice and warm. And if we look at the kind of the amount of dynamic range we're getting in this bed here, in the details there. If we go along, okay, and then here, it's sharper, but we're actually losing detail in this bit here. So that bit is just blown away. Oh no, no. So yeah, I thought Panasonic might have been winning this competition. Okay, maybe it's just that I just can't deal with the higher ISOs. Next shot, bedroom, lovely shot. Oh, just lovely room there. Panasonic, not so bad. So this one seems to be pretty close to each other. So the Canon seems to be a brighter image, even at exactly the same camera setting, same ISO, same white balance. In terms of sharpness, though, okay, you're obviously getting a narrower frame with the Panasonic. So, for example, for this one, we can see right from the. So with the Canon one, the width that we've got here at 16mm, we can see. Hold on, we can see right from the edge of the mirror. We can see the door. We can see all the way to the bust of the head. With the Panasonic at the same shot. Okay, so even though it's a wider angle lens shooting at 4K, you're using is a less wide field of view that we're getting there. But also, if we let's just look at the details we're getting here. So with the Canon, if we look at, I'll take skimming off, this is starting to annoy me. If we look at the details in this wardrobe here, that seems absolutely fine. Go to the Panasonic, it seems dirty. That's the thing I can really say. It's sharper, I'll give you that, but it's dirtier. If we can see up into the lights of the Panasonic, can we see that in the so the Canon, we've got a wider field of view. So Canon wins again. Okay, okay. Next shot here, bathroom. Now this one I was looking from like the bottom of the bed up to the lights. So look how twinkly the lights are. They're so lovely here. Panasonic, whenever you look at that straight away, you're kind of going, damn, that's not as like striking. And but it is, so yeah, it is a completely different exposure setting. However, and there is a much more purpley blue cast in this area here compared to this shot here. It's just much brighter. The Canon does definitely suffer from vignetting up in the corners, but whenever you're using it in the video setting, is using the kind of crop part, so it's not using the very top and edges on the Canon, so therefore you don't see the vignetting quite as much. And this was all at f4 for this, so it'd be comparable aperture settings for the Canon and the Panasonic, but yeah, just not quite doing it as well. Okay, what was this one? This one was Okay, check out how blown out the windows are, how bright it is there. Go to the Panasonic. It's just as blown out. It's not a case that you're actually getting any more. Doesn't seem like you're getting any more dynamic range, really, are you? Maybe a touch, but that seems to be more like the exposure difference. And there's definitely a blue hue to this, so that even though I spoke the settings, that I'll put them at the end, but that was around about ISO 4000 there, and that really shouldn't be as blue as what that is there. But yeah, Canon definitely wins in terms of the color setting here, and I would say that it's kind of like the black here is meant to be that color, the whites there are meant to be that color. I would say that looks absolutely fine. It's just the bit where there's reflection, there is a lot more blue going on. The Canon is definitely a warmer camera, or warmer settings. This one, okay, so we're in the living room here. Looks good, happy with that. Yeah, that looks lovely. And the Panasonic, a lot darker. But what about the dynamic range that we're getting in? See this light here? Big, bright lighting thing going on there. Panasonic just looks darker and bluer. I don't think I really need to go any further with this video. I think it's quite clear to see that the annoying thing is, it looks like you cannot use the Canon 5D Mark II and the Panasonic GH4 as a dual camera setup. I've said this in a couple things where if you're doing two cameras, two angles, try not always have the same cameras or the same types of lenses or something like that, because you've got color cast within the glass, but also cameras render colors differently. And also cameras degrade their image quality at different levels of ISO performance as well. So it really seems like here the Panasonic was being pushed. It was around about the ISO 1250, and that may have been pushing it a bit too much for it to keep its color correction here. So for me, it definitely seems, without a doubt, for my internal property videos, I happily 100% could use the Panasonic GH4, not a problem. I'm not saying that you can't use it, but what I am saying is that the Canon just gives a better image. Oh, controversial! So even though that's 1080 and the Panasonic is 4K, again, my clients aren't looking at this on a 4K video. They're looking on an iPod, iPad, or just on their little laptop at home whenever they're scrolling through properties. But for me, in terms of editing, the Canon, I feel I don't really need to do any editing to that, apart from maybe add a little bit of darkness to the blacks and add a bit of sharpening in post. The Panasonic here, I feel I need to do a whole whack of adjustments. So maybe bringing the mid-tone blues down. And that's the thing, with 4K video, it really slows down the editing. So yeah, bring the mid-tone blues down, the exposure, upper bits up, blacks just down a touch. So a little bit of editing there. Which one do I like now more? The Canon, Panasonic. So you can get them pretty close, but for me, for my workflow, that requires a good little bit of editing for every single shot. And here, the kind of what we're getting going on in the light here, I'm not really digging. So I bring the mid-tone. I think ease of use, well, you can get it pretty bloody close actually. I'll give you that. Okay, with a little bit of editing, you can get the Panasonic very, very close. But in terms of speed of workflow for me, I think for my professional video photography, property video stuff, I'm going to be staying with the Canon 5D Mark II. Again, it's also because it's got the higher ISO performance. The downside is it's got a shallower depth of field, so therefore I need to shoot at f4, f5, f5.6 to get acceptable levels of depth of field for certain properties. So for me, the Panasonic did a very good job, but for my professional work, I think I'm going to stay. And what I'm saying is like this is for my situation alone. So if you guys are shooting landscapes or other stuff, Panasonic GH4 4K video, absolutely go for it. It's absolutely fantastic. But for internal, where it's fairly dark and you're like still getting these blue casts on the reflections compared to the Canon. Oh, the Canon wins. Damn you, Canon. Maybe one day I'll upgrade to the Canon 5D Mark III, but at the moment the 5D Mark II is doing a top-notch job. So there you go. That was my revelation with the Panasonic GH4. What's your experiences been? Cheers. Let me know. Bye-bye. One last thing is that if you are on my photography channel, you may not know that I've got two other channels. One is my exercise channel, which you can check out, which is Dom Bauer Exercise. I think the actual name is just youtube.com/Dom Bauer. And I've also got another one on this channel, so I've got Dom's Talks. And a lot of that is going to be about me dealing with my first ever newborn baby, little Logan Bauer, born on the 4th of September. And so I'm learning to be a dad. So it's all my mistakes and all the things which I'm learning which are quite useful. So if you want to see more about little Logan and how he's getting on, check out Dom's Talks. And if you want to see, I've also got Dom's Flights as well. So again, I'm doing a lot of stuff flying my DJI Phantom around the places, and also going through the process of getting the license to do it commercially. So if you want to see how I'm doing that, check out the Dom's Flights channel as well, which I'll put all the links to down below. So thanks for watching. Bye bye. ISO 1250, 50th of a second, f5, 30 frames a second. ISO 1250, 50th of a second, f5, 30 frames a second.
White balance 6000.